we go. Chav Ches Amid Beis. We got to the first two dots. We got to the second two dots. We're holding at the third two dots. We were smack in middle of the Amid. Chav Ches Amid Beis. First word on the line is Katan She'einai Tzarech Lima. If anyone remembers later, put a post on the chat that we didn't have in Meir. Just, yeah. You know the way these... Yeah, not now. Katan She'einai Tzarech Lima. So we said in the Mishnah that a child that does not need his or its mommy is chayiv in the sukkah. Says the Gemara, what does this mean? Katan she'eino tzarech li'imay. Heichi dami she'eino tzarech katan she'eino tzarech li'imay. Amri dvei Rav Yanai. They said in the yeshiva Rav Yanai, kol shenifna, any child that uses the bathroom, ve'eini mai mekan chasai, and doesn't call its mother to wipe him. Rav Shimon Aimer, kol sheneir mishnasai, any child that gets up from his sleep, ve'einai kairei ima, and doesn't call to his mother. Two ways of knowing what is a katan. Asks the Gemara. 1 second. It said anyone who wakes up from his sleep and doesn't call to his mother. Asks the Gemara. 1 second. Gedolim nami karu. I don't think here gedolim doesn't mean a 15-year-old. I sure hope the 15-year-old is not waking up and calling his mother. But the Gemara's question is that even a kid who certainly doesn't need his mother, let's call it a 10-year-old, an 11-year-old, I don't know if we should go further than that. There are times that such a kid wakes up, Shalom Rabbi Schuster. There are times such a kid gets up and calls its mother. So ask the Gemara again. We said two ways of knowing that it's called a kid that doesn't need his mother. And such a kid is chayiv in sukkah. Way number one is the kid uses the bathroom and doesn't call mommy to help him in the toilet. Way number two is the kid wakes up and doesn't call his mother. Asks the Gemara, what do you mean? There are times that even older children call their mother. Elaima, says the Gemara, kol sheneir ve'einai kaireh imai. However, kol sheneir, anyone that gets up and doesn't call ima. What does that mean? So let's look at Rashi, because what just changed between the Kasha and the Teretz is a little bit difficult. Why? Let's look at Rashi. Says Rashi, Ella kol sheneir. We're about 10 lines from the end of the narrow lines in Rashi. Kol sheneir ve'eino kair ima she'einoi karuch achareo likrois v'lishnois achetava yelav. The kid doesn't call. Aval kairei v'shaisek. That's lav sarach li'imai. Which this is it's a difficult, age to figure this out. The Gemara is saying a kid can wake up and say, "Mommy." Kid doesn't hear mommy coming. The kid says, "Okay," beseder, and the kid rolls over. That's a child that's einoi tzarech li'imai, and that's a child that would be obligated in the mitzvah of sukkah. Now, we will just point out there's a little bit of a unspoken question over here. Yesterday, what did we conclude? Whoever remembers, yesterday we concluded that the Mishnah said, "Nashim avodim v'ketanim are pater." We then had a pasuk that said, "Kol," that kids are chayiv. We said, "Stira," are kids chayiv or kids pater?" What do we answer? It depends. If they're at the age of chinuch, then they're chayiv. If they're not at the age of chinuch, then they're pater. So what's this age? What's this new age of einoi tzarech li'imai? Is this the age of chinuch? Is that what the Gemara is explaining to us? Is the Gemara coming off of the previous Gemara now saying, you know what einoi tzarech li'imai mean? You know what chinuch is? Einoi tzarech li'imai? L'chayra, that's the pashut way. If you look at Taisvis, everyone could quickly glance on the right side of their page, on a Chav Chesem and Beis. Taisvis, about 5 lines from the wide line, says, Kan b'katan she'gi'a lechinuch, kigoyin katan she'eino tzarech li'imai. So Taisvis learns that once he gi'a lechinuch, the kid doesn't need his mother. From here we see a very, very important rule in all of chinuch. Chinuch is not an absolute age. You can't say, 6-year-old, chinuch for everything. 8-year-old, chinuch for everything. Chinuch goes by the mitzvah, by the obligation, and chinuch builds. Someone asked the other night, how many hours do you have to wait between meat and milk for a kid? So the answer basically is, it grows with the kid. You start waiting a little, and you wait 2 hours, and 3 hours. What do you mean? Is it chinuch or is it not chinuch? So that's what we're saying, is that it's subjective, depends on the mitzvah. So over here, when we're talking about sleeping in a sukkah, we're not just going to give a number, 6 years old. No, it's dependent on what does sukkah require you to be able to sleep without your mother. Katan she'enai tzarech li'imai. And now we quote the end of the Mishnah. What was the end of the Mishnah? The end of the Mishnah was a story. There was a story with the daughter-in-law of Shammai Azakin. She gave birth. And what did Shammai do? He opened up the ceiling and he laid down sukkah on top of the crib. Says the Gemara, the obvious kasha. Maisa listar. We just finished saying, certainly a baby is sarach li'imai. Certainly a baby needs its mother. So a baby should be the quintessential example, whom is Potter. So why is the Mishnah seemingly giving me a case of a baby that you have to put schach on top of the baby's head? Answers the Gemara, Chasurei mechsra v'hachi ketani. We have to add words into the Mishnah. Chasurei mechsra, there's something lacking. V'hachi ketani, and this is how you have to read the Mishnah. You have to add in two critical words. Vishamai machmir. Shammai holds that even a katan needs to eat in the sukkah. Umaisanami. And now we have a story. And the daughter-in-law of Shammai gives birth. And he opens up the ceiling. So we concluded the Mishnah, and we can really say there's 3 dinim when it comes to a katan. According to the Tanakama, according to Hillel, a katan she'enai tzarech li'imai, a katan she'tzarech li'imai, a katan that does not reach the age of chinuch is Potter. Din number 1. Din number 2, once the kid reaches the age of chinuch, once the kid doesn't need its mother, is chayiv. Din number 3 is that Shammai argues. Shammai holds a child always needs to sleep in the sukkah, as is proved by Shammai's own daughter-in-law. And now we begin a new Mishnah. Yeah? Are we all good? Yes? No? Lots of silence today. Okay. Making up for all the talking. I mean, all the hacking trying to get him in. Okay, let's go. Zok Eiliga Mishnah. Kol. Shivas Hayomim. This should sound familiar. The Moises Sukkah Keva. Ubeisei Arai. All 7 days of Sukkot. Your sukkah is keva, is your home, and your house is temporary. Yardu geshamim, part B of the Mishnah. If rain comes down, mei masai muter lefanois. When are you able lefanois to leave? When are you able to exit from the sukkah? Says the Gemara, misha tisrach, when it spoils, hamikfa, the porridge, the dish. When your dish spoils, when there's enough rain that it spoils. So Rashi over here points out that we're talking about a specific type of dish. Because, for example, a piece of beef jerky can rain on it from today into tomorrow. It's not really messing up the beef jerky. A bowl of piping hot soup, a drop of rain is going to mess it up. So Rashi points out, what's a mikvah? It's like a porridge. It's something, kol tashel kafui loy rach v'loy av. It's like in between. It's like an oatmeal type of consistency. That's the consistency that when that gets ruined by rain, that's when you leave the sukkah. And now we have perhaps the most famous mashal in all of, I don't want to say in all of Torah, but of them. Mashalai mashal lemaha davar daima. I'll give you an analogy to what this is compared. Le'eved sheba limzoig kois l'rabbi. The Eved comes to pour a cup for his master, v'shafach loy, and the master pours on him, kitoin, the pitcher, al panav, on his face. Just to point out, what is the word limzoig? Limzoig means to pour, to dilute. So it would seem that the Eved is coming with a pitcher to dilute the kais of the master, and the master is taking the entire pitcher, not the cup. I think in our childhood we were taught otherwise. No? I have a cup. If you're being meisig me the kais, what are you doing? You're taking the bottle and you're being meisig me the kais. Good. I'm the master. What am I throwing in your face? Not the cup. Right. The pitcher. Interesting. What's pshat? Yeah. No, that is v'shafach loy. Yeah.
I don't know who.
Yeah. V'shafach loy Kitein al panav. Rashi says shalmayim al panav. It sounds like maybe you're right. It sounds like maybe the Eved poured on the master's face. But why the pitcher? Why the pitcher? Yeah. There's lots of Torah over here. What's
the mashal?
The mashal is that when it rains on Sukkot, Hashem says, I don't want you here. We're sitting in the Sukkah, and Hashem pours rain on us. Hashem is taking us the cup, throwing it in our face. So get out of here. So who are we?
We are moizek the kois to Kadosh Baruch Hu by coming into the sukkah and doing the mitzvah.
Okay.
Kadosh Baruch Hu is throwing at us.
Mashigazah. It's interesting. I know it's one of those things we're taught as kids. So you come into the sukkah and Hashem takes it and throws it in your face. But when you think about it, that's such a simple mashal. And why you're pouring the cup and the master's pouring back the pitcher, interessanta zachen. Let's do 2 more lines, then we'll call it a day. Tanu Rabbanon. How do you make your sukkah permanent? You have beautiful utensils. Mal in the sukkah, you bring it to the sukkah. Mitza'is na'is, you have beautiful linens. Mal in the sukkah, you bring it to the sukkah. Oyechel, you eat. V'shaisa, you drink. Umetayel, and you relax. B'sukkah. All these entities are done in the sukkah because the sukkah now is keva. Where do we know this from? We already know this. Minahani mili, ditanu rabbanon. Teishvu ke'ein taduru. You live in your sukkah like you dwell in your house. Mikan amru. From here they say, Kol shivas hayamim, oise adam sukkah keva, ubeis hayarai. Keitzad, haylakelim na'in mal in the sukkah, mitzayis na'is mal in the sukkah, oyechel v'shaise umetayel b'sukkah, umishanin b'sukkah. The Brisa adds on, umishanin B'sukkah, which means that you analyze, as we're going to see tomorrow, what that means a little bit more. B'siyata dishmaya. We do not